Hey everyone, this is Shortbus, and this is my fantasy role-playing game rogue build. I say rogue, but that could be a thief, an assassin, a burglar if you want to go all Bilbo Baggins. It could be maybe we have the makings of a bard or a ranger as well in here. Something that tends to be sneaky. Will be the guy who detects traps. Might use poison. Might do assassin or backstabby type things. And in your party will typically be DPS that does a lot of damage real fast. All right. So for this build, what are some of the things that we've got here? Let's go ahead and start off with the stats, then we'll go into the spec trees, and then I'll go over the powers here that we've got. And I'll probably be bouncing around as I talk about these various things. But first of all, for the stats, and we're just going to scroll down over. Let's get rid of that for now. Okay, so my primary super stat is strength, and that'll make more sense when I start going over the spec tree for strength and why I chose that. Then, of course, we have dexterity. Now, dexterity might be your go-to, what you want to go to first for, what you want to have as your primary super stat. I decided I wanted to go a different direction, and I got my reasons. But you're definitely going to, if you use Form of the Swordsman, you're going to definitely use dexterity as a super stat. Now, if you wanted to, you could, of course, use the form from Bestial Supernatural, which scales with strength, and then maybe use something else, but I figured I need to have some dexterity in here somewhere, especially since I'm going to be using Night Warrior. Well, actually, Night Warrior there, even though it's the same little picture and stuff and things. But, yeah, I got to have Night Warrior. Your invisibility scales with your dexterity, which might not be necessarily a big deal for most of the stuff, but I don't know. I don't want to find out the hard way, like, oh, I really should have had some dexterity in there because everybody and his brother can see me. Lastly, and this is sort of like an RP choice as well as it has some practical use. I went with intelligence as a secondary super stat as opposed to, like, say, recovery or endurance, because one, intelligence, if I reduce the cost on my powers, how much energy I need to use them, then I don't necessarily need to have a lot of recovery or a lot of endurance to use my powers. Another reason is with intelligence, I can reduce the timers on some of my abilities, which might be really, really useful. And then lastly, intelligence is used for detecting things that are stealthed. So I kind of think it's sort of like the counterintelligence. It's like the rogue can be sneaky and also should be able to find the other people who are being sneaky, and then go kill them as needed. And one thing I really loved was the fact that the fist up here has strength, dexterity, intelligence as the stats that it's taken care of, which definitely suit her needs, and then throws in a little extra recovery, which, I ain't going to poo-poo a little extra recovery. Sure, yeah. All right. So, while we're here, let's just go ahead and talk about Steadfast real quick. The reason why I chose Steadfast over, say, some of the other martial arts oriented energy unlocks is because this one scales with your dexterity, which is one of my super stats because I don't have recovery or endurance, and that way I didn't have to have recovery or endurance, and I could go with the intelligence as my pick. So there we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and look a little bit at the specialization tree. Now, as I mentioned, strength is my primary super stat. And so for the bottom row, I knew I wanted offense because we're here to do damage. And I don't have recovery, so I'm not going to bother, wasting any points there. Physical peak, on the other hand, seemed like a good idea to get, reduce that cost a little bit more on my power so I don't have any issues when it comes to energy. And then swole, I figured, what the heck, let's put 1 point in there just to get me a little bit more hit points based on my strength. So, yay, there's that. And that brings us up to the top row. Now, I usually love to get Juggernaut because, Constitution grants defense. I don't have any Constitution, or at least it's not my primary super stat. I just got the, 15 points or whatever the heck you get. So over here, we've got Strength increased my critical chance. I do have some strength. It's not something that I'm going to be putting a lot of mods in for, but hey, what I've got is going to increase my melee critical chance. And that number won't add in over here. So, because this is all my critical chances, not just melee. So you could add another 7.8 onto that, and who knows how they do the math and diminishing returns and stuff, but, you know, more chance for me to crit. Yay. But over here, brutality, critical severity is going to be increased by my secondary super stats, which is great because dexterity is one of those. Dexterity is what I'm going to be stacking. Dexterity is what I'm going to want to have the most of whenever I possibly can. So now not only does my dexterity increase my chance to crit, it also increases the amount of damage I do when I crit. So that's really good. And of course I didn't need this, or I'm not knocking anything. At least not, you know, in melee game and stuff. I'll knock some powers. Oh, whatever. Alright, so let's move up here to the other spec trees we got. We got Brawler. Obviously, we wanted to get, you know, Ruthless to increase that critical severity. Penetrating Strike, so now when I attack something and I get a crit, it means that for the next 5 seconds I can do 10% more damage. Or ignore 10% of the target's resistance, something like that. It's more damage. I'm going to do more damage with that. And since I maxed those things out and I had 1 point left over, I skipped over No Escape, put a point in the Glory of Battle so I could open up the top row. And I looked at these things and I was like, well, okay, Finishing Blow, not too bad. You know, that's not a bad thing. Setup, your melee combo attacks have an increasing chance to cause your next non-combo melee attack to deal additional 10% base damage. Not a bad idea. Really isn't. But this one over here, flanking, definitely felt more like a roguish thing to do, because I intend to be behind things, do that backstab, do that shadow strike, do whatever it is I'm going to do. And, you know, especially if you're at just about any cosmic, tanks are on that side, keeping the attention of whatever your cosmic is, and you're on that backside going to town. Yeah, I think I said that right. All right. And then along with this, I decided to go with Offensive Expertise. So, how nice of them to make this the same symbol as what's down here for intensity. But my goal was basically, you know, I want to be able to increase my damage that I do along with my strength and my dexterity, which will, of course, increase my chance to crit and my crit severity. And just in general, the more base damage I do with strength, you know, just it's the gift that keeps on giving. And with this, I can keep it going a lot. All right, so move up here to Vindicator. You know, almost like I just feel like this is the big one. If you're getting Vindicator and you're planning on doing more crits, get this. Put your 3 points into Merciless. We all should know that. It's the only time where you can get 15% as opposed to like the maximum 10% you get with some of the other ones that have Ruthless available. And that's going to increase your crit severity. Over here, we've got Aggressive Stance. 20% of my offense gets turned into defense. That's great. Probably be more fun once I actually get, like, say, Justice Gear, and I've got that extra offense bonus, and then I can go towards defense or something. But hey, I'll take what I can get, you know, when I'm getting it. And plus, I didn't care for anything related to my energy builder or, you know, defeating something and getting some health, because if I'm at a cosmic, that's not going to be an issue. And you know, this could be useful though. If you got like lots of yard trash, you're doing something like, just say, you know, clearing out your basic dungeon or something, your basic map, or maybe you're in the Cliff-Othic War Zone doing your dailies. It's an option. It's an option, but we're skipping that. We want to go with these things. Now, moving up to the top row here. Ooh, more Offensive Expertise. Just a different picture than, say, what we had here, which looks a lot like this down here. But again, that's going to reduce that timer. And down here, between those two and my intelligence, I've got a recharge that is just under a minute. And then if like somebody, like, say, gives me some Aura of Primal Majesty, as well as, say, Aura of Arcane Clarity, that could, you know, put down that number way low and just be crazy, just hitting it all the time, getting them bonuses and racking up them kills and damage, and I don't know, anything else is crazy there. So yay, there's that. But even without it, those other people doing stuff, I've got good numbers. Then put 2 points into the AOE, crit chance, and then 1 into the single target crit chance. And I don't know, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Looking down here, I mean, I know Reaper's Caress is my combo. It's going to be my bread and butter for most of the part. So maybe that's why I put more crits into that. I don't know. Even though this here's probably going to be my big damage dealer and it's a single target thing, maybe that would benefit more from more points in this. I don't know. Just had to put them somewhere, and that's where they went. All right, going up to here, we got Brawler Mastery. If you lunge, blah, 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 I don't care. Vindicator Mastery, if you've got some range damage bonuses and stuff. Yeah, if somebody does Aura Primal Majesty, your ego goes up and provides you with more damage to do or stuff. But let's just keep it simple. I'm going to increase my strength, which is in turn not only going to increase my physical damage that way, but it's also going to increase my melee critical chance as per this. And it's also going to increase the amount of health I get. Let's see, what is this one here? This is secondary super stats, so it doesn't matter, but you get the idea. Alright, so that's what we chose for that. Now let's go over the powers real quick. As I already mentioned, we're doing single blade, and as part of that, we're doing bleed, so we've got Form of the Swordsman. That's where we're going to get our stacks of focus, and this is going to be the main thing for getting out those bleeds, that Reaper's Caress. Just going. Yeah, alright, so good. We've got that. Also, to help us get some bleeds out there, we've got the Caltrops. Let's back up a smidge. Alright. And now he is in the Caltrops, and let's see if it's going to give any more bleed stacks. Back it up and do it again. Make him bleed. Make him bleed. Make the walls bleed. No, I'm not going to do that. Definitely snaring him. But trust me, there is a chance if you get that advantage. Alright. So, we got the Caltrops and that for bleeds. No, really, the Caltrops will make him bleed. We've got Reaper's Embrace to rupture those bleeds and any other wounds, because I took that advantage. And then also, I got Scything Blade, which you can get this thing called Swallowtail Cut on, and not only do you have a chance to put on a bleed, but you get a chance to put on this weird debuff that will make them take a whole bunch more damage. And a Cosmic is just going to put it up on their bleed, which is great because, that's another source to put up a bleed, and then you can rupture it or just, enjoy the fact that while they're bleeding, they're taking damage. It's like, well, how much damage do you want to take? Well, how do you want to do this? You can do it both ways. And it's great stuff. But Scything Blade, you can go around and ruin the day of, say, something, basic here. And we'll do this. And he's taking this nasty damage. Yeah. Oh, actually, all of them are. That's an AoE attack. Interesting. Can I stack it? I can just refresh it, it looks like. Yeah. But, I mean, that's just a nasty, yeah. Let's see if they just die. There they go. Okay. Ha-ha! Fun stuff. So you could, hit something with that, and, if you have to go take care of some other things, well, that's going to die eventually. Yeah. Alright, so that was Scything Blade. Now, of course, we've got our Shadow Strike over here, which does nothing on its own, but if we are in sneak mode, sneak, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this twice. We're going to sneak up on this time here from behind. Okay, 19,351. We'll kind of remember that number here. Now, we got to wait 30 seconds before we can do it again, and while we're doing that, we'll just go about and look at some of the other powers I got. As we've already talked about, we've got Intensity here, which I've got at rank 2, so that'll increase my DPS by a bunch, and as well as it's adding 42 to my Strength and my Dexterity, which it might not be that much of a increase to things like crit severity and crit chance and stuff from various specializations and stuff, but it's like just a whole lot of little extra numbers that are getting put in there to get you some increases. So take it. All right. Now, let's do this from the front. Survey says, hey, it's a little bit lower number. So, but I don't know if it was actually like the 10% or whatever. I don't know. Okay. Whatever we're supposed to get from being in front of them, behind them, and stuff. All right. What other crazy stuff we got going on here? We have, of course, a self-res. I went with Aurora just because. Get whichever one you think fits your idiom or whatever. We've got Resurgence. I went with Resurgence instead of getting, like, say, Masterful Dodge and Bountiful Chi Resurgence, because one, that's 2 powers for the price of 1. Even though they tend to go well with the martial arts stuff, I feel like Resurgence is just going to be more reliable, and it's 1 button for the cost of 2. Then we've also got a nice little threat wipe here that's the Smoke Bomb. So as you can see right now, he's got me, up here, and I cease to exist. Even more so than before. And, this is actually pretty cool if you want to get back into Sneak so you can do this again. Is it a great way to try and do DPS at, say, like a Cosmic? Probably not. But, maybe if you're just on the, your own, you're doing the map or something, or maybe it's you and a buddy, and it's just like, if I only had, I can do this, and you can get back in there and do that thing. All right, so lastly, let's go ahead and stop sneaking here for a little bit. And we've got, what do you call this darn thing here? We've got Deflect, so I can put up my sword, and I can, protect myself. And I believe this also, has a chance to make your target bleed. Yeah, you will cause an attacker to begin bleeding. Although that's funny, there's a little typo in there, begin de-bleeding. Yeah. But, again, getting more stacks of focus, right? Alright, so, and then lastly, I guess, we've got Athletics from my travel power. And, the only other travel power I could think to go with for, you can stop blocking there, would be like swinging or something to, pretend that you're Earl Flynn or something, I guess. Robin, welcome to Sherwood. That would definitely fit, but I decided to go with Rainbow Flight. And it's sort of like a headcanon for my dwarf characters. They're all, I like to think of them, even though this guy is more like a dwarf you might find in Middle Earth or in, your typical Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game or something. In my head, he's more like a dwarf that's a rogue that is, closer in relationship to the dwarves in Nidavellir. And I don't mean the Nidavellir that was in Avengers Endgame with that guy from Game of Thrones playing, was Eitri, I believe. It's more along the lines of, just a dwarf who's, they're working the forge there in Nidavellir, and they make, neat weapons and rings and things that, large women in pointy horned helmets are going to sing very prettily about. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely got off subject there, but yeah. So it's his Bifrost. Yes, he has access to it's Bifrost boots. So if you ever see Brana or Little Valkyrie going around, Little Valkyrie, she's a Valkyrie, but the Rainbow Flight is the Bifrost. There we go. So he has connection to that, which actually kind of works along the lines of the Nidavellir in the Thor movies, of course. After a while, and the Thor: Love and Thunder thing just came out. You should check out the trailer if you can. All right, so that's that. Oh, one other thing. Now I mentioned already the idea of traps and stuff with caltrops. I don't know if I actually specifically said like it's a trap, because that's what they kind of are. But I have one other thing, and this is where you can have fun with your own rogue and try to customize them and stuff. You'll see over here I've got the Poison Shuriken. I think I picked that up from the Drifter. You spin some Drifter salvage, boom, there you go. Or maybe it's a Question Night thing. I don't know. Look wherever the heck you can find it. And you can get either the devices that can be used over and over again, or maybe they're just ones with charges on them or something that you get from, like, say, And I'm just throwing ideas around here. I don't even know if they're right. But you could go to, like, say, the Until recognition vendor, or maybe even the main recognition vendor, who, you know, with your silver and your gold, you can get whatever and do some neat stuff. But these devices can basically be another, you know, source of, you know, roguery. But, you know, so we've got a nice little poison on there, so, ooh, you know, we're being all, you know, nasty and stuff. And it gives us a nice ranged attack other than just this, which, yeah, we hit him. Oh, and now we're getting that bleed. Or was the bleed from this? Well, we got a second bleed, so we got bleeds. Haha, yeah. Alright, so, let's go ahead and play with this thing in the Qliphothic Warzone, and I make no guarantee that I'm going to be able to take down, some things, just because it's Night Warrior, it's melee, and I don't know, I'm a little on the squishy side. I'll admit it right here. Alright, so we're here in the Qliphothic Warzone. We're riding the Bifrost here to go where the heck we're going. And we'll go ahead and go sneaky, so everyone just goes, oh, look, it's a rainbow that's going all over the place. Yeah, that's it. Alright, here comes the big guy. I couldn't time this better if I actually tried timing it or something like that. Yeah. Alright, so generally when I look at this group here and I look at what I've got, speed and killing things fast is going to be my friend. That's going to be the best way that I'm going to be able to get through this. And probably, if I can, I want to, like, use my Shadow Strike to take out one of these guys, then take out the other guy, and not die in the process. So, survey says... Alright, we're already getting our ass kind of kicked here, so we're going to go ahead and use the Resurgence, which is good because it gives me some nice regeneration type stuff for a bit. Alright, now, let's see here. What do we got working for us? Let's go ahead and do this. And you know what? Ooh, maybe that's something neat. I don't know. Alright, so we'll go ahead and... Ooh. So far, so good. If I can just... Ooh, want that. Definitely want that. Boom. Alright. Alright, we're back in it to win it. Yeah, alright. Woo! And blocking, and blocking, and blocking, and blocking. And I'm looking at this right now. It's like I got, you know, 49 seconds over here. Taking a bit of... Oh, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1... Showtime. And single target attack. Oops, single target melee attack for the win. No? Alright, we'll just finish them off. But one thing I wanted to point out was, you know, their nice little buff that those guys have that basically says if it's not a single target or a melee attack, forget about it. Actually, it has to be both those things, single target and melee. So, you know, if it's a melee attack but it's AoE, he's still going to have some resistance against it. If it's single target but it's ranged, he's still going to have some resistance to it. So there's my buddy right there. Now, while we're at this here, let's just go ahead and clear out some trash, because this is the fun part, really. Eep. Pop that. Alright. Get some health. And I don't know. Maybe it's slow, maybe it's fast. You can tell me. Like, comment, and subscribe.